Hi guys, thanks for joining me. I'm going to guide you through a fairly gentle flow that's really just all about becoming present in your experience in your body and really becoming calm and centered within yourself. So enjoy this class. What you'll need at home, ideally if you have a yoga mat already, that would be the perfect thing. If you don't stress about it. You can actually just use like a carpet or a rug or just something that you feel comfortable, being on the ground on, where there's not too much pressure on your knees or your back. So we're gonna start out today actually by lying down. So what we'll do is just really nice and easy, lie down on our backs. We're gonna do that so that we can bring the spine to a more neutral position. So just go ahead and lie yourself down. Let your palms open up to the sky. Roll the tips of your shoulders, roll the tips of your shoulders down and back so that your chest has a little more freedom. And then just close down your eyes. What we're gonna do is just take a moment to soften, to relax into the experience and arrive in your body. Now together, let's start to tune into the breath. So take a nice big inhale through your nose. Feel for this expansion quality in your body. And open mouth and let it go really gently. Once more, deep breath in. Expanding the chest, expanding the breath into the ribs, side to side. And open mouth, exhale. Next inhale breath, just bend up your knees, placing your feet on the ground. And just slowly bring your knees up to your chest, or your belly. Wrap your arms around your knees, wherever they are is fine. You can interlace the fingers here, or you can grab a wrist, whatever you'd like to do, and just gently pull the knees into the chest. Just take a moment to lengthen through the lower back, allow it to get a little more open, top to bottom, and side to side. And then we'll bring the feet to the ground, hip width apart, just shy of where your fingertips could touch your heels, so just a little bit out of that range. And just making sure your feet are nice and parallel. So if you're a beginner to class, you might even just turn your toes a little bit inwards. Place your hands on the front of your pelvis so that you can feel your two front hip bones. And as you inhale, slowly start to curl or tilt your tailbone up towards the sky. And what you're going to feel is naturally your front hip bones move closer to your lower ribs. And so it's not a big movement. Just stay there for a moment. Feel the length through the lower back come in. And then exhale, tip the pelvis the other way. So you're going to tilt your tailbone towards the floor and see if you can arch your back so your front hip bones move away from your lower ribs. It lengthens your belly. And let's repeat that with the breath. So inhaling breath, curling tailbone up, pressing lower back into the ground. And exhale breath, tilting your hips opposite way, arching the back off the ground. And 2 more times. Inhale, curling tailbone up, very small movement. And exhale, tilting the pelvis back towards the earth, arching the lower back off the ground. 1 more, inhale. And exhale. Next time, come back into the tuck, so inhaling. And continue that tuck up until your lower back and your middle back come off the floor. Release your hands to the floor with the palms facing the ground. Spread the fingers. Draw the shoulders back towards the earth so the inner borders of the shoulders come closer together. And then press the feet down and forward to lift your hips as much as you can. Keep your knees parallel and your thighs rolling in and down. And take another breath in. Now stay here as you exhale. Stretch the arms overhead. Try to bring the back of the hands to the floor. Really lengthen. Pause here for a moment. It's as if you're pulling your ribs away from your hips and moving your hips the opposite direction towards your knees. Take another breath in. We're going to keep the arms here and exhale just slowly, bone by bone, lower down. So first you'll feel your upper back, and then the middle, and then the lower back come to the ground. And releasing the arms by the side. Let's repeat that once more. So inhale breath, curling tailbone up. Start to free up the lower and the middle back from the floor. Finding the knees parallel, the back of the body strong. Take a breath in here. And now exhale, stretch the arms overhead long. Breathing in. And lower all the way down. Nice and easy. Bring the soles of the feet together, knees wide, and take your hands to the tops of the thighs, fingers towards the knees, and bring your hands a little closer in towards the knees so they're further from the hips. Push the thighs down and away. See if you can straighten your arms. And feel that it's a very subtle thing, but feel that you're energetically moving your thighs down, away from the hip socket. This is a nice little gentle way to create space in the lower back. Take 2 breaths here. If you need a little bit more, try sliding your hands further up the thighs and then straightening the arms so that higher your hands go closer to the hips, kind of the stronger it is. And you're letting your shoulders also elevate up to the ears to facilitate this space. Take another breath in and a big breath out. Inhale, bring your knees together. Curl your knees to your chest. Take your hands behind the knees to come. And lifting the feet, exhale, we'll rock forward. And we'll come all the way down to the knees. So just slide your feet around one direction and hands around the other. Bring yourself towards the back of the mat or wherever you are. Feet together, big toes touch, knees about hip width apart. Stretch your arms forward, come onto the fingertips. And as you lift your gaze, keep your fingertips rooted into the earth. Start to sink your hips back to the heels. It's okay if your hands slide back a little bit. Just allow for that. And then dropping your head at the end. 3 breaths. So more of an active variation of a child's pose. Try to keep the elbows off the ground. And it's like you're slingshotting your chest and your heart forward. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale breath, press down into the hands and knees, come up to table. Hands shoulder width apart and knees and feet about hip width apart, so just adjusting that. Find a nice flat back, so you're going to gently draw your belly button into the spine, which is going to flatten out that curve of the lower back. So that's where you'll know you have a neutral spine. And then step your right foot back, tucking the toes under, and then your left to come into a high plank. We're going to bring the feet together in this high plank as best we can. Send your heels back and the crown of your head forward, and keep your lower belly lifted in and out. Take another breath in. On the exhale, lower your knees to the mat at the same time, and then slowly lower your chest and pelvis down to the ground. Try to do that, keeping the elbows into the body. Untuck the toes, keep the feet together, contract the legs. Inhale, lift the heart, slowly lift the hands off the floor, and this time we'll lift the feet off the floor as well, coming into a Shalabhasana. Inhale, stretch the arms out to the side and turn the palms inwards. So your thumbs turn to the floor and then stretch the arms back. Same time, keep lifting the chest, holding here. Take another breath in, dropping the chin to the chest. We'll stay for the breath out. And inhale, take your hands to the floor under the shoulders. Bring the feet down and slowly come back to the knees. Tabletop position. This time, tuck the toes, feet apart, and slowly lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. 3 deep breaths here. Now take a soft dog, just bend the knees a little. Tilt the hips up and back to lengthen your lower back. Keep your heels off the floor for a moment. Spread out your toes. 2 more breaths. As you stretch your hips back and up, lengthen the spine. And then draw your lower ribs in, so you're going to find that neutral lower back again. Take 1 more big breath. Big breath out. Lift your gaze to your hands. Come high on the tippy toes. Flex your right toes and just step that foot forward. And then stepping into the right foot, flex your left toes. And just walk forward like that until you can bring your feet close to your hands, feet apart. Take your big toes with your peace sign finger grip. And inhale, lengthen here, lifting the heart, straighten the arms, stretch the heart forward, micro bend the knees. Exhale, fold forward, bowing down. Closing the gap between the belly and the thighs, 3 breaths. Let your neck be long as you exhale, drop the crown of the head to the earth. Breathing in again, try to pull up on the big toes, stretching the elbows out to the sides and back. One more deep breath in. As you exhale, anchoring the feet into the earth. Now release your toes, bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, come into a halfway lift, so lifting your spine maybe to parallel or slightly below that, head up. Micro bend the knees and soften and exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, open up the feet. Squat the hips down, Malasana pose. We'll take the hands to the heart. So beginners, you might be on the toes like I'm showing here. If you are pretty comfortable coming down, lowering the heels down is fine. Try and turn the toes a little in, so as parallel as feet as possible. Pressing your knees into your hands and your elbows into your knees. Knees into your elbows. One more breath. Slowly bring the hands to the floor behind you. Walk your hands back so that it's a comfortable, soft landing to lower your hips down. And come to Dandasana. So just nice straight legs in front, feet together, flexing the feet towards you. Bring your hands to the floor just to fingertips, fingers turned forward. Draw the elbows back and towards each other to open up the chest. Firm the legs, so contracting the thighs. Lift the heart and puff the heart forward as the shoulders go back. 2 breaths here. Keep really firming your foundation. So whatever you feel touching the floor, feel that it anchors down. So the whole back side of the legs, the heels, the buttocks, the fingertips. One more breath. And breath out. Next inhale, just lean back so you can bring your feet together. Soles of feet together for Baddha Konasana. We'll keep the fingertips on the floor behind us. Now, if you're in this position and it's a bit more like this with the knees way up, you can actually just move your feet a little further forward and your knees will go down a little bit more. Or you could sit on top of a pillow or a yoga block underneath your hips if you need to give yourself a little more space. So whichever variation you choose, just choose the one that best suits you right now. Take a nice big inhale and lift the heart, pressing down into the fingertips, straighten the back. And then exhale, if possible, take your hands to the feet in front of you and slowly start to journey forward. Now, you'll find your back has a tendency to round. That's okay as long as you're not pulling. So just be really gentle. See if you can just melt into it. 3 breaths. 1. Slow, soft breaths in through the nose. 2. Just letting gravity take you deeper into the position. There's no force, no expectation to get anywhere. And 3. Slowly inhale. Coming up. And exhale, coming back to Dandasana position. Let's take the hands to the floor a little further back this time, fingers forward. We'll bend the knees and open up the feet so they're about hip width apart, coming into a variation of Purvottanasana, the upward facing plank. As you press into the heels of the hands, lift the heart. So puffing up the heart, creating a little extension of the spine. And now press into the heels of the feet and inhale, start to lift the hips up and see if you can bring them up to roughly parallel. You're still looking forward here. Keep the knees hugging in. Squeezing in together, holding here for 3. Keep looking forward, lift the hips. 2, suck the lower belly in. And 1, exhale, coming down, lowering the hips. The second round, walk the hands back a little further if you can. Same thing, press into the heels of the hands, press into the feet, keep the knees parallel. Inhale, lift the hips up. Holding here nice and strong. Rotating the upper arm bones in. If the wrists don't like this very much, you can have the fingers turned out to the side. Take 1 more breath in, and then exhale, lowering the hips down. Good. Last round, you can stay with that variation or come into the full pose. So pointing the toes, legs together, legs straight. Start by lifting the heart. This would be an option to stay right here, actually. It's a lovely way to open the chest. If you're comfortable with it, on the inhale, we'll come up just for 1 breath. So keeping the legs strong, press into the heels. Lifting the hips. This time, let the head drop back. And exhale, just slowly lowering down. Shimmy a little forward on your mat if you're on a mat. Keep the legs straight, toes pointed. Stretch the arms out to parallel And very slowly coil yourself down. So curling the tailbone under, just vertebra by vertebra, lowering your back to the ground. I'm gonna come into one easy spine twist to finish. So we'll start by bending the knees. Pick up your hips and just move them an inch to the left side. And then cross your left leg over your right, like you're sitting at the dinner table. Lift your knees towards your chest, and option to double knot it, so option to cross the ankle around. Otherwise, you can stay with me without doing that. Take the arms out to the side and just slowly let the knees drop to the right. Don't worry if your knees don't touch the floor. Focus on keeping that left shoulder grounded. We'll take the right hand to the top of the left knee. And you can even use that hand, like if you're a little tighter through your back, you can use that hand to support so that you don't feel too much, it's not too much for you. Otherwise, you can place the hand on the knee and actually really work to ground those knees. Let's take 3 breaths. Spine twists are a really nice way to connect into what's happening in your torso, the back of the body, the sides, and the front. Because as we rotate the ribs in one direction, in this case our ribs are going to the left, we rotate the hips, the pelvis to the right. So we're getting this beautiful spiral. Wherever you are, just breathe into it. There's no expectation to get anywhere. One more deep breath. Inhale, bring your knees back to center. Exhale, uncross the legs, move your hips to the right, and cross the right leg around. Lift your knees to your chest. Again, option to double knot or not. Arms out to the side, and you're gonna actually push the back of the arms into the ground to slow this descent down so you can actually control it. And then left hand on the top knee, either supporting from underneath or actually grounding and stretching the right arm out to the side. Nice, slow, soft breaths. Really center yourself here. Now, if this one was a little too strong, you could actually do this posture without crossing the legs, which I'll show here. So just really simply uncrossing them. Let's take one more deep breath, just really softening into it, surrendering to what you feel. And then slowly, we'll inhale back into the center. Exhale to the feet to the floor, lifting the hips, just move them into the middle. And then bring your knees and feet together. Using your core, just start to lift the knees into the belly and float your arms next to the legs. So your palms are facing in. Now, curling up, using your core, lift your chin. And see if you can lift the shoulders. You're gonna squeeze into a tight little ball, holding here for 3, 2, really waking up that energy of the core. And 1. Good. Make your way to final Shavasana, just letting the feet and the head come down first. Slide the feet out to the edges of the mat, let the toes fall open naturally. Adjust the back of the body, maybe do a few wiggles so that you can spread out like a puddle pulling on the ground. Close the eyes. Just taking a moment to really rest and relax and rejuvenate here. Take a couple deep breaths just to really arrive. And then allowing that breath to really quiet down. Feeling a sense of connection to the earth, connection to your own body. So you're welcome to stay in Shavasana. We're going to close our practice with a final closing mantra. I'm going to sit up to do this mantra. You can join me, or you can actually just stay on your back. So we're going to close with the Mangala mantra. This is a traditional mantra that is known for being the closing mantra of Ashtanga Yoga. But it's a really poignant mantra for the circumstances that we find ourselves in right now in 2020 with a situation where we feel almost as if the ground has been pulled out from under us in a lot of ways, with different circumstances going on in our economy and in our health and the overall wellness of the community. So we'll inhale, take the hands together in front of the heart. Exhale, close the eyes, bow the chin towards the heart. And starting with the sound of Om, deep breath in. First line is Swasti Prajabhyaha. Swasti Prajabhyaha Paripalayantam Nayena Magena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmamebhyaha Shivamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Finishing with Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all beings be well. May all beings have peace. May all beings have happiness. May the rulers of the world look after us. Namaste.